Dad, I just shot him and he just fell down. Like right.
He just fell down?
Just like 20 yards away, like right here.
Tonight's headline, South Vietnam surrenders and the communists occupy Saigon.
The year was 1975, and I was selling memberships to a national hunting club part-time while dealing used auto parts as my real job. With no money, no experience, I got the idea of starting a club of my own, sharing the unique culture of hunting across the Lone Star State. Our first magazine was called Texas Hunters Hotline, and it was an instant success. As the stories grew and the pages increased, so did the membership for the Texas Trophy Hunters Association, and the magazine took on the same name. Soon, we created the first Hunters Extravaganza that had never been done before, and in 1998 came the television show, Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters. I'm Jerry Johnston. Join us as we chronicle the people, the culture, and the experience that is the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters.
Oh my gosh.
My heart's supposed to burst out of my chest here.
Oh.
I got all emotional because we have watched this deer for several years. I had practiced all week, 5 or 6 times a day, just because I was so worried about making a good shot. And just sitting there, I just remember praying, like, dear Lord, just please, please let me make the perfect shot on this deer. Look how wide he is. Is that awesome or what? When everybody shows up to see, it's like reliving the thrill of it all over again. They all get to be in awe of what's just happened and to experience it all together. And then they all come out and they're all so happy for you. It's just like a big celebration.
Trisha Kusenberger is happy to have her whole family here to share this celebration with her children and her husband Glenn. This is a moment that came after much preparation, practice, and patience.
We decided to go out that afternoon, and it was cold and wet and everything that it hasn't been so far this year. We had to take Kubota out there to get there.
Trisha's odyssey goes back several days before she shot her incredible buck on this free-range chunk of South Texas. She made a promise to her son Julio that she would delay her hunt, giving the 7-year-old the chance to kill his buck. Besides, with Glenn doing all the guiding, there's only one of him to go around, so Trisha waits back at camp.
Julio's after anything that you let him shoot, but we try to keep everything down, so he's more in the culling and management program. In particular, we've got an older buck that we've been after for a couple of years and just can't seem to get him. I'd have to say Julio's probably not your average 7-year-old in a blind. He makes a little noise still, but he's been going with me every chance he gets since he's about 4 years old, so he's got it figured out pretty good. We weren't in the blind 5 minutes, and a big 10-pointer showed up. And he knows that he was on the list, but he's not on Julio's list. He was a big deer. He was itching, and he knew that he was on the list, but he knew he was big. So it's one of those things, we had to hold off on that. We shoot a big deer like that with a kid, and there's no going back. It's not his time just yet. That buck stayed in front of us 15 yards, for 45 minutes or something. And Julio was inching around looking in the back of the scope because we had our crossbow set up. And I said, you just stay away from the trigger, boy. Don't get close.
It wasn't on Julio's list. It's on a list of deer that need to be shot, but the kids have their own list to manage them to where they can step up and grow in the program. So they're not shooting 140-inch deer at 7 years old. We let them step up just like we did when we were young.
Once that buck left, that was about it. That was the end of that evening. It got dark on us.
It seems Julio won't be losing his guide anytime soon, and Trisha's hunt gets pushed back another day.
The Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters is made possible through a partnership with Kubota. For every task, every terrain, there's a Kubota dealer in your area. Sniper Hunting Products, changing the game of wireless game cameras. And Horizon Firearms, custom long-range rifles and accessories.
Hey, we're gonna go get set up, but we gotta keep still and be quiet, all right? It's probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes before daylight. Okay? All right, but we gotta get settled in and be patient, be still. And it's miserable again, cold, wet, wind's blowing a little bit.
Glenn Kusenberger didn't have to coax his son out of bed this morning. Julio had been waiting for this moment for a long time. In the mind of a 7-year-old, it's been a frustrating journey to get to this point. Because of his age, Mom and Dad have been careful about making sure Julio's passion for hunting doesn't outrun his age. He's had to watch the celebration among other family members for what seems like an eternity thus far, patiently waiting his turn until one day he can be the one at the center of the celebration. His day has come, but it might take a while for the right deer for a 7-year-old makes an appearance and a mistake. Only thing is, one has to wonder, where did the name Julio come from for this child?
My child's name is actually Waylon. It is Waylon. I named him that, I spent a long time naming him that, and my dad decided to give him a nickname, which I have to explain all of the time. Julio.
So you can call him Waylon and he's probably not gonna look at you.
Why Julio? It's my dad.
That's where it started.
Of all the kids and all my dad's grandkids, here is what he's done to the family. Jose, Nicholas, Jojo, Dodie, Julio, Lulu, and Dino.
And not any of those.
Not any of those are actual names. Anyone who comes down here has no idea who our kids really are. I don't think he knew his name was Waylon until like a year ago.
It's a good thing we've got that Kubota because there's no way a truck could get back in there with the ruts we put in there from weeks prior. It was bad. He does a good job. He's really into it and he knows. He watches what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, but some days are better than others.
For a 7-year-old, it's starting to seem like the cards are stacked against him. Days passed, miles and miles in the Kubota. Rain, mud, clouds, and confusion.
I know Julio was getting discouraged because we just hadn't seen the bucks we've been after and been seeing younger deer or older deer or too big or, you know, that kind of deal. So he really wants it bad and he wants to shoot that crossbow, you know, and our odds are pretty tough.
It could be a very long hunting season, like forever.
Getting a little pressure from Trisha because she wants to hunt her buck and her boy is pretty dead set on trying to get this buck down. So we've been kind of after him before we go after the other, which sounds a little backwards, but that's her boy.
Julio's moment finally catches up with him as the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters continues.
This segment of the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters is made possible through a partnership with Horizon Firearms, custom long-range rifles and accessories.
We're going out the evening, Julio shot his buck. It was probably his 5th or 6th hunt and had everything from cold to hot to rain to sun, clouds, everything, you know, wrapped up in these 6 hunts. It's been kind of tough. But anyway, we're still back at it and going out there to see what we can get done.
Everyone's lost count on how many times Glenn Kusenberger and his 7-year-old son Julio have sat on 5-gallon buckets in this pop-up blind. 5, 6, or was it 7? Doesn't matter, because Glenn's wife, Trisha, is waiting patiently back at the house to see when it's her turn to kill a deer.
Sitting there not seeing anything, and finally we had a 6-pointer come out. And Julio knows it's not a shooter, but I got him up and had him practice on them, you know, and make sure everything's gonna work the way we have it set up, and put it on his shoulder, and we were just practicing, going back and forth, trying to get him still and make sure that, you know, he was lined up, and gave us a little momentum sitting there, but again, we only had one little 6-pointer that wasn't a shooter quite yet. Here he comes. We're right there at the very end, and it's almost too dark. We probably have 5 minutes left, and one of those bucks we've been waiting for walks out. And so at this point, we need to get it done as quick as we can to make it all happen. And it's tough to tell a boy, you know, get up and get set up quick, but he did just that. He got up, got set up, said he was good. Of course, Buck, when he comes in, we have 5 minutes of light left. He has a hard time turning broadside, and it seems like he wait for 6 minutes and you only have 5. And he finally made the turn. He picked his head up, and Julio said he was on him.
So, what do you think? Think it's a good shot? Think so? Did you see that buck? Well, hey.
I saw it one that way.
After sitting all those hunts, and it was breathtaking to see he put it exactly where we've been practicing. We decided to call Trisha and the boys, and everybody's just so excited. Everybody wants to be a part of it.
Oh, this is a knock at this buck. Here, where's your tracks? Mom, we should. Oh, there's the buck! Oh my God! He's big and fat! Big and fat, dude. Dude, it's heavy! You eat it. He's big and fat! Oh my God! Yay! Finally shot one!
The excitement of Julio and those other boys, they just go crazy. I mean, they just love it. You never get over that.
Oh my goodness.
He's heavy.
I can see my husband. He's got such pride in his eyes of his son, and he's so proud. And seeing it passed on and the bond that they've created, I just know that through all the years to come, I'm gonna keep seeing this.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm happy that Julio killed a buck. That way Glenn's freed up to go out with me tomorrow morning. The only thing is, we've got a really bad rainstorm in front headed our way.
Good job. I'm
Good
so
job.
proud of you.
Closed captioning for the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters is made possible through a partnership with Snyper Hunting Products, changing the game in wireless game cameras.
That morning we get up and it's rained a little over an inch, and it is cold. The temperature dropped 40 degrees from the evening hunt before, and a little over an inch of rain. Yeah, we knew it was gonna be miserable out there, and we just hoped that we could get there.
It was horrible. We had heard the rain that night.
We've got 4-wheel drive trucks all over the place, and we're really thinking that Kubota is gonna be about the only thing that can make it to that blind right now.
Finally, the day Trisha Kusenberger has been waiting for has arrived. She's practiced shooting her bow. All the while, the Snyper Trail Cam photos of a great whitetail buck in the back of her mind. Trisha and Glenn's son Julio has killed his buck for the season, and it's all Mom's turn. Mud, rain, and all.
5 years ago, we had a buck show up that had inline points on both sides. He was a 2-year-old, and we've watched that deer grow year to year for 5 years, and that deer is personal to her. We got tons of pictures of this buck with that sniper camera, but only one picture in the daylight. We get in that blind and get everything, trying to get everything set up and making sure everything is in order. You know, make sure she's got everything the way it's supposed to be, everything's gonna follow through. Just don't have a whole lot of confidence it's gonna happen this morning.
He could have crossed the highway. He could have went over to the neighbor's pasture, and that's just a chance that you take. So we just hope he shows up.
She says, he's coming. I look at her and trying to be quiet, and I said, he's coming or a deer's coming? And she looks and says, he's right here. That buck walks right in front of us. Perfect.
I immediately get my body positioned and have my release set and clipped, ready to go. I think it's too dark. And it's hard to believe that you can sit still at 18 yards away from a buck like this and not spook him.
So everything's going through your mind, and you're trying not to move, trying not to breathe. You catch yourself holding your breath for a long time, you know, and just praying that if he gives the opportunity, she's going to make a great shot.
It was crazy looking at him. Every time he would like lift his foot up, he had clods of heavy mud just surrounding his foot, and would put it back down. And I was thinking, I know what that feels like. I just went through it, and here he is, and looks like he's wearing shoes on his feet with all the mud built up. Glenn told me to be patient, that deer's not going anywhere. He looks like he's settled in, and let's just wait for the perfect timing and wait till it gets to be right to take him. Anytime he would lift his head up, I was wondering if it was a hog coming out, there's another buck coming out, something could come out and make him leave. A truck could drive by for the oil field, and my chance would be gone. And time is just ticking, and it's just not happening. It's just not happening. I'm not getting the opportunity that I needed. Finally, he took a step, so I started to get ready, and he takes a step and he keeps going to the right of my shooting lane, right behind a tree. And my heart just sank.
And I just knew it was over. That was it. That buck turned back around and walked straight into us.
Now all I'm waiting for is for him to take another step in, to get his front leg out in front, and game's on. I don't think I was even breathing. I had to have not been breathing to have been that still and that steady. Do I need to get another one?
No, that's perfect.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Just go down, buddy.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I guess prayer works. I've been praying for the last 20 minutes. Oh my gosh.
My heart's about to burst out of my chest here.
Oh.
You can't beat that.
Oh my gosh.
It's fantastic. That's a perfect shot.
Shooting 6 times a day for the last week. Just not wanting to wound him. Now you gotta tell my dad. Or I have to tell my dad.
This deer means a lot. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know.
Hey,
I'm like shaking.
do it this way.
Oh my gosh, and he just went out. Dad.
Yeah.
Dad, I just shot him and he just fell down. Like right.
He just fell down?
Just 20 yards away, like right here.
Good job, girl.
He's right here.
Oh, hey, that was exciting, right?
Oh my gosh, I said I've just been sitting here praying for 15 minutes that it would just be a great shot, and he just fell down right here.
She called the house and has another emotional breakdown, and everybody's really excited for her, and you know, everybody's just put in a lot of effort. I mean, this is a buck of a lifetime.
think we called pretty much everybody that I know, which is not very many people.
It was different because there was no tracking job for this deer. We saw him die in front of us. So we kind of unzipped that pop-up blind and just blew out of there.
I just could not wait to get my hands on him and to feel him and see him. You could see his big beam coming up off the ground out of the grass. And I knew, I was like, I think this deer is like growing.
Holy
cow.
moly.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at all of the stuff he's got going on.
Look at the size of him. My
goodness.
That was mud. Look at the mass on this deer.
Oh my gosh. He's whiter. Oh my gosh.
As I picked up his horns, I was just amazed. At that moment, everything didn't matter. I think it had started to start raining again. It was windy, it was cold. It just didn't matter.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, 19. I told you you can't see everything. You can't see everything. There's probably one caught in the mud over here.
And everybody gets there and it's a circus.
Look how wide he is. You don't see that until he was eating, then he goes like this. And you're like, oh my gosh.
As is the custom on this ranch, 3 generations of Trisha's family gather in this sloppy South Texas mud. It's not so much a celebration as it is a moment of absolute emotional relief. Another chapter to cherish in a place where the weather and the landscape seem to conspire against you. Everyone here knows what Glenn and Trisha have gone through to arrive at this unexpected moment.
Point his head to me.
Ankle deep in mud and gunk, there's no place in the world that they would rather be than right here.
The Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters is made possible through a partnership with Kubota. For every task, every terrain, there's a Kubota dealer in your area. Sniper hunting products, changing the game of wireless game cameras. And Horizon Firearms, custom long-range rifles and accessories.